Hello, BIO1. Is there somebody already, or is that not the case? No. It is about to be less a sucker of a set excuse of a human being. Since we are not so important for the planet. Let us start with this. L. If bees and butterflies, for example, are disappearing, the whole ecosystem will grade to be negatively affected by that. When we are ourselves are disappearing, now then we have a tragedy. The whole food web will no longer anymore work. So as I say in many of my videos about animal rights. By the way, I think you are not one to go serious in this, since you are most likely in trouble. Maybe in your country, but in the country where I live, you can say it both ways. So please go and troll somewhere else. There are slight variations in speech between languages. And sometimes one can be used or the other. Now, one way you can suck glass is, for example, not use plastic all the time and don't use fishing um, materials. Don't buy fish products. Don't buy fish. Since fish gear is responsible for the majority of the plastic in the ocean. Yes, it's actually a fact. So this study shows the fish industry is at least responsible for 46% of all the plastic in the ocean. So if you want to do something right and don't be longer a parasite to the environment, go then stop buying fish. Since fish is not necessary to survive, there are no vitamins or minerals that you don't can get from plants. Another fact, omegas, there are more omega-3 in things like flax seeds than there are in animal flesh, and on top of that, fish have PCBs and other high metals and quick. Another thing you can do is to be less of a sucker is when you are going to the grocery section of your supermarkets, don't buy the products how they are placed in plastic. I know sure if I have said before, the fishing industry is responsible for far more percent than you will ever cost if you don't buy things from the fishing slave trade. Since the fishing industry alone is at least responsible for 46% of all the fishing gear in the ocean. Which is a very shocking estimate. You also can just buy whole plant products and don't buy anything in jars and other non-recyclable materials. Or buy stuff from the farmer's market and take your own baggage with you, where you place the fruits and the vegetables in. You can also, one very good thing you can do actually to be less of a sucker in this world is to clean up some trash that is waving around in spaces. Clean your stuff well up what you are. Don't throw around your stuff. I know some of you do that, and I hope not the one who are subscribed to me. But there are a lot of filthy people who don't be clean with our planet, and that plastic can be accidentally eaten by birds or break down into very tiny particles. How then are accidentally eaten by whales and dolphins because they are confused with phytoplankton. The most tiniest and most special are actually all organisms on this planet. Without phytoplankton, nah, without phytoplankton, you will be nowhere. since they are so extremely important to the health of this world. Phytoplankton are so small that you don't can actually see them with your eyes, at least if you have not a very good eyesight, but they are so very important. Phytoplankton produce 70% of the oxygens. Whales are, by the way, responsible for their fertilization. The whale pool is extremely high in things like iron and nitrates and some B vitamins. The average whale produce, even come to a very small one, 300 pounds. When it comes to an average whale, around 4 pounds, 4 tons of mineral any day. Phytoplanktons are disappearing since 1950, not because of they just want to disappear, but because of that we are destroying the ocean's habitat. Compared to 1950, if we compare it to a study on the with a study that was taking counts of the diversity in the ocean in the early 2010, around the health of all the animal species of the diversity in the sea is collapsed because of commercial fishing gear and all that other ecological terrorism gear. And the decrease in phytoplankton is also one other key player in that is the pollution of the oceans by land-based animal agriculture, and that's the renewal of around 70 billion land animals are any year put in the ocean. And I can say you manure of cow is not similar to the manure of a whale, which is actually, now I can say you the manure of whales is good for the environment of the ocean, but the manure of whale of the cows is actually terrible. That's one of the biggest reason of the growing numbers of phytoplankton disappearing and ocean dead zones in the world. And which scumbags are subsidizing the animal slave trade, the animal agriculture? Now, around 40% of the European total budget is given to plant-based animal agriculture. A very high and very unbelievable, stupid estimate of around 48 billion dollars, euros. That's not just the definition of supporting and subsidizing terrorism. Any year around 8 trillion. No, any year around something like 2.8 sea animals are killed, fish are killed by the animal slave trade. Oh yes, the reason McDonald's can make their hamburgers so extremely cheap is because of that American subsidies for animal agriculture are around something like 80% of their subsidies for food. Why the fuss? Why the fuss? What's wrong with the United States of the brainwashed cults? Why the shit give you so much subsidies to animal agriculture? So many subsidies. By the way, the links are on top of it. The fishing industry, the UN member states pay around 24. Yes, I say it again, 24 billion dollars/euros to subsidize the animal slave trade of the fish. That's fucking nuts. That's totally nuts. Wonder. No matter how you look to it, if you want to suck less in life, the first step you will have to take in account is to go vegan. The animal agriculture industry is responsible for also a whopping 81% of all the deforestation, at least in the Amazon rainforests. Of that is 70 to 75% cattle ranching. Oh yeah, the so-called safe haven fallacy of the meat heads, of the animal flesh eating carcasses addicts. The grass-fed animal agriculture will be less destructive as green-fed animal agriculture. Now let me not lie. So for the people who don't have watched the start of the video, if there are already new people watching the stream, this stream is called How to Suck Less and How Less to Be a Parasite on Earth. And in the stream I talking about some ideas I have from how to suck less and things I think you can do with your life that can make lads to dislike you less, since I care mostly only about the environment and I don't care so much about people. And the reason I don't care so much about people is because I find that people care too much about themselves and are basically ecological insane. Because we think we are so special to the environment, when if we are replaced or removed from this planet, anything will be so greatly good for the environment. The environment can slowly but surely evolve and become better again and heal itself, because that's what the world does. It is a self-correcting system. If they get the opportunity to heal, then Earth will heal. But if you constantly put more toxic to the Earth and pollute it anytime, again and again, over and over, it don't get a chance to heal. So of course we don't see the greenhouse gas effects go away. For example, that we have in Europe have one of the hottest summers since the beginning of the counting of the weather. And year ago in Australia they have the hottest summer ever, since they are starting to count the temperatures. So if you are still wavering about the fact that animal agriculture is playing a large percentage of problems in this very big ecological disaster that scientists have called the Anthropocene, because we are responsible for it. And you still won't and that you have any efforts that we are the way we act now are not ecological insane naked apes who are totally out of control and should be imprisoned by an AI or something like that, or being eliminated totally for the sake of all other life. If we are not changing our behavior. Now I like to challenge you on this subject. For the people that don't know me, I am a kind of one pretty serious person and I don't like to fuck around and say things that are nonsensical. I don't like politicians and I don't like to give you good things for your bad habits. So, it's time to clean your shit up, people. It's time to stop supporting the fishing industry, how is responsible for the majority of all the crap in the waters. Of all the plastic in the waters, at least by the fishing industry alone, at least some 46% of all the plastic in the ocean is from fishing, the fish trade, the fish slave trade, the ecological terrorists called the fishing industry, the barbarity of the fish trades, or the savages how like to suffer the murder and suffocate fish. All names I give to the fishing industry or the fish trade. Now, is there now somebody? Hello. Yes. Please, please, people. I hope you will come on my stream. And say something in the comment section and not being a troll. I'll say, oh, you have to say something like this. Oh, you have to say something like that. Like on the beginning of the stream. Oh, you don't say it in this way. You have to say it in this way. You have to say how to suggest and the last of a parasite. But I want to say how less to suck and how less to be a parasite on the planet, because that's how I want to title the video, and people stop playing dumb and stop focusing on little small details that don't matter. That's the problem of this world. There's a problem with people that constant focus on small percentage of the problem instead of the whole problem in its whole. They don't say the majority of the environmental activists like Greenpeace, the world's other world protection organizations like the Way Up, they don't support by they say not that you have to go vegan to be an environmentalist. Even it is a fact that you have to go vegan if you want to claim to be an environmentalist, since by far the most biggest environmental threat is animal agriculture. When we talk about the fish slave trade, they are responsible for on top of that, there are, of course, killing around something like 2.8 trillion fish a year, and people who support those industries. They are also responsible for that fish. Uh, with global fisheries have collapsed since the 1970s. A lot of fish straits and fish animals were, marine animals were driven to the stage of extinction, like but not limited to the North Atlantic cod, were commercial extinct actually on the day of my birth, which is 1992, and 2 years before my aunt was born in 1970. The Japanese sea lion was was extinct because of fish trades. In the north, sea cow. So around that time, so if you can see in this article of me that I wrote, the ghost nets that are actually plastic of fishing gear that they are driving and that are floating in the waters, which are part of the 46% of all the plastic that come from fishing gear that are in the ocean are around 40, around 30, around 135,000 whales, seals, and other marine animals are killed in those violent nets, along with crustaceans, sea turtles, and birds. You can all find it in this article if you want to check that out. And be aware that the fishing industry are a bunch of scumbags who want to make profits the destroying the Earth's oceans, habitats, and bringing animals to the brink of extinction because there are low lifespans. Now, and if you are disagreeing with that, please, people, explain to me how I am wrong by assuming that the fish trades are about to come back. Now, are there already people? By the way, you can also watch this video if it's been online and watch it from the beginning point. You can Another way you can reduce your global footprint is by wearing your stuff out. If you're buying some new t-shirts or you have some t-shirts that you still wearing, but you want to buy some other new things, um, resist that urge to buy stuff that you have already, but you maybe want to have something that looks more glittering and new. And take some time to think before you buy some new pair of shoes or a new jacket. And think, do I truly need it? Do I truly need to have a new pair of shoes? Do I truly have to have one new jacket? Or you can also ask yourself, have I not already enough shoes? Or have I not already enough rings? Do I not already have enough toys? Do I actually need it? Do I actually use it? Or would it be only in my back in my closet and I will wear it now and it will stay for eternity? Um, it will only go on each other until you have lots of stuff you don't need, a lot of stuff you have bought and bring in existence. How maybe nobody will use beyond only our more waste we bring on this planet. More stuff we will have. More stuff our species is hoarding. Now, what are the most important species on the planet? Now, to be real and to be honest, the most important species from a biocentric perspective are, I think, phytoplankton, since they are the key players in the production of oxygen, because they are produced around something like 70% of all the oxygen from the planet, even with their decrease in numbers since 1950. I also think another very important species is actually not one specific species, but are a category of species, how we often refer to as pollinators. Pollinators are responsible for some 90% of all the food we eat to grow. They are responsible for the, for a lot of the flowers to bloom. Phytoplankton are responsible for that we can actually live on this planet. Cyanobacteria are family of the one group of cyanobacteria of how lived are around something like 4 million 4 million a lot of time ago, for around some 4 million years. Cyanobacteria I often like to use as little as possible stuff myself, actually, since I think we should have not extremely amount of stuff moving around. I don't consume anything that have have get or have once a mother or in bowel movement cannot just get you pain. I don't buy stuff that come from the ocean, which is cast in nets, how are polluted the water, and how are actually the main reason of the of the plastic problems in the oceans, like this article, or actually this study says. What's wrong with the people? Turtles are killed in those horror things. Sea turtles and a lot of other animals are brutally executed only for the simple reason that some people want to eat corpses. Also, the majority of the fish trade in America that comes in the United States is in violation of federal law, namely the Marine Animal Protection Act. Which is sadly pitiful, not enforced for over 40 years. So sad. By the way, if you want to watch my video where I go in detail on that article, you can check out my video about the fishing slave trade. If we look to the statics, often studies how research this kind of questions, you see that if you take statics that since the 1950s and the 2001, the first year of the 21st century, around the half of the fish populations were declined. Today, only around 10% of the fish is not exploited. This is of a study of the FAO State of the Ocean Report 2014. That means that only 10% is not exploited, and that means that around 80% of the oceans are in some kind of exploitation. since 2014. In the 1950s, also the populations of phytoplankton are starting to decline, with today only remaining around 50% of the phytoplankton populations of they were in the 50s. This is also because as we have decimated around 90% of all the cetaceans, whales, dolphins from the oceans since in the 20th century. For nuclear weapons, because the whale oil in the head of the whale is largely used in machinery because it is highly heat resistant and it is therefore used in the production of nuclear bombs. So I was thinking, so people have killed one of the most important sea creatures for the environment and steal their oil to build weapons of mass destruction, and we claim we are intelligent. Think about it. But furthermore, in the 1960s, fisher slave traders developed more efficient, meaning more destructive, methods of catching larger amounts of fish with more stronger and powerful trawlers, along with radars and electric navigation systems and sonars, preserving the fish slave traders to terrorize the fish population with unparalleled success in terror. Canadian fish catch peaked by the end of the 70s and the early 80s. The new technologies affected in one very bad way the Nordic cod population in two significant, terrifying ways. First, the first way of terrorizing the endanger of the populations of the cod was because of that the new technologies helped to fish larger areas and in further deeps and in larger amounts until the surviving fish cannot replenish themselves anymore. Second, the trawlers have a large amount of bycatch, and with the cut of the cod, also significant amount of economical, not so much important, but ecological, a very important fish as a bycatch. With the Nordic cod, there are also a significant amount of caviar, a very important prey species of the Nordic cod population. Furthermore, because of this, the transatlantic Nordic cod fisheries collapsed around the day of my birth, 1992. All industrialized fishing methods come with an extremely high amount of bycatch, with one study estimated only the amount of fish as bycatch in the Pacific Ocean by longliners. Longliners are large nets that drift in the ocean with a length of around 100 kilometers. The study found that around 4.4 million non-targeted marine animals were catched in these nets, with around some 3.3 million sharks, around 58,000 turtles, 77,000 albatrosses, around 20,000 dolphins and whales, and around 1 million million marines. Around 650,000 marine mammals, including whales, dolphins and seals, are killed any year by marine vessels, fishing ships. Because of this, almost all fish products sold inside the United States are a violation of their own federal law, namely the Marine Mammal Protection Act, which is perfectly, or must I say, despicably not enforced for at least 40 years. Sadly, people always focus on learning about the good stuff they do. Because people like to hear good things about our all obvious bad habits. And the majority of Western people are extremely spoiled, and spoiled people are want to even get more times good things about their bad habits because there are always gadgets. That's the reason rich people are often so annoying because they are spoiled. They have a privileged position. But that's for another video. And run all the time. I think I will end this live stream now. I hope you have something learned from this live stream. And that that some of my tips I have given you can easily implement in your own daily schedule. In planning your own schedule. And that you decide to become blast sucking. That you are deciding to let me be ashamed of my species. I see you next time. Bye bye.